was sitting right here, and like I think it was like the ice cracked and popped,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and I was like, "Whoa!" Or I think I said like
yeah,
"shit" or something like that. I
yeah.
don't
I
know.
do remember that.
Yeah.
Pretty
So
crazy.
that was a thing.
Yeah, your life. Did your life flash between your eyes or before your eyes?
Yeah, my life definitely flashed right between my eyes, and
Mm-hmm.
it went right between my toes after that.
It's a freaky life. Then is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Mm.
find me on Feet Finder.
This is just your plug for your OnlyFans feed account.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got
I don't
some
know what
ugly toes.
those dogs look like. Are they pretty trimmed?
No, they're mangled.
Mm.
Like you know those
Like it needs to be put down.
you know those mutts, those gamma radiated mutts from the 2003
Yeah.
Hulk movie.
Hmm.
Yeah, like that's what my toes look like.
Those things are weird. Did you ever play the game, the 2003 Hulk movie game?
I think so.
It's just like it wasn't that good, but I just when the dog showed up, I was so angry. They were
That
always
was one of
so
those
mean.
time periods where every single movie had a video game.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like Stuart Little, a movie that you wouldn't think deserved a game, and now here you are running around as a mouse in an airplane, flying around like some suburban city in New York. Like for what? Why am I doing this? Like just wacky stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't even think that one is really even that wacky. I'm sure there were even more wackier ones if you really looked into it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just I really didn't like that movie. It
You
was
didn't
not
like
a
Stuart Little?
no. I don't really remember Stuart Little like that, but I imagine I probably enjoyed it. I was talking about the Hulk 2003.
Oh, that movie's great.
Okay.
It's long,
Yeah,
but in terms of like a stylized film,
it is very
like
stylized. Yeah.
it's so stylized, and I think that gives it so many points. And then there's these like moments of CGI greatness where you're like, wow, this is crazy for its time. And then
Mhm.
there's moments of CGI doo doo, and you're like, wow, they didn't give a rip here.
Yeah.
Something happened.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That was a okay Hulk movie, you know. It was
You
not a
need to
very good Hulk
rewatch.
movie.
I want to rewatch it. We should rewatch it.
Is it like rewatching Daredevil, like the Ben Affleck Daredevil?
That too. We should. I think after a movie like this, you want to. It makes you want to appreciate what you had before.
Mm.
And I feel like I could go back and rewatch a movie like Daredevil, like Ben Affleck's Daredevil, like Elektra, and appreciate what those movies were at that time,
Yeah.
and kind of look forward and go, wow, what the heck happened? Where all these quips come from? Why does everything got to be a multiverse?
Well, yes, right now it is a multiverse. But... All right. Well, I guess this is the intro to the show. So
Yeah, we in?
I guess so.
We in here?
Unless you want to like do some like I don't know, like lasers or something.
Lasers,
Hmm.
like shooting out of our eyes.
I wasn't thinking about that, but
I don't know
sure.
if I'm that editing savvy yet. I can try.
If you want, like if you add it in post, I wouldn't be mad. And if
Yeah.
you don't, which you probably not, that's okay. I'm not going to be mad either.
Wow, I just felt like the total shit. And then he goes to sip his drink right after he drops that massive shade on me.
I'm sorry.
That's insane. Wow, that felt good, didn't it? What's going on?
Welcome to the podcast.
So long. Ian comes back and he's just ready to rip.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Dude, you suck."
No, you don't suck.
Welcome to the podcast, guys. We missed you.
Yep.
Yeah, it's probably been a while, but at the same
has.
time, you guys probably weren't listening at that time anyway. So this probably hasn't really been a while. This is probably the first time for many people, which is okay. That happens,
Yeah.
You live, you learn, you grow, and you do it again. We're not stopping. We're not stopping, right?
We won't stop. We can't stop.
Oh yeah. Whoa.
Yeah. That's what I was making a reference to.
Don't take nothing for no money.
Well, who sings that again? I don't even remember.
I don't know if like how does the internet work nowadays? Do we get copyrighted just for doing that? Is the
I
episode
hope
just
so.
like to completely demonetize
I hope so.
the like 1/4 cent that we would have gotten?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I hope so.
Or are we so small and like irrelevant now that we're able to just say what we want and without repercussions because like who's who's gonna know?
But they still be attacking like small accounts.
They don't even know we
Yeah.
exist.
I mean, I we had on the old version of the podcast, we'd always get flagged for something.
Yeah, that's true. They didn't like us. I don't know.
They
What
were
are we
just
talking
trying to
about today,
ran us
Ian?
out of town. Run us out of town. We are talking about the newest MCU spectacular bonanza Budokai Tenkaichi 3
No,
plus 4, 5, and 6.
absolutely not.
Captain America, New World, and then you cut like the Brave New World.
My heart hurts.
I'm sorry.
My heart actually hurts. This movie is crazy.
It's something, you know. It's actually got not a bad rating on Rotten Tomatoes audience score. It's like 80 something. At least last time I saw it was like,
Really?
yeah.
But the cinema score was like a B or B minus, I thought,
Yes, yeah.
which is the lowest cinema score out of any Marvel movie to date.
Yeah. But sometimes, you know, the critics don't be criticking, you know, like with the audience, you
Yeah,
know.
you are right about
Like
that.
us, we're critics technically.
Yeah.
And we
Like, what do we know? We don't
we
watch
don't
movies.
know Jack.
We don't have podcasts about how much we watch movies. We don't know. We don't know nothing. I don't know
Mhm.
anything. Who am I? Who are you? Like,
I don't
seriously, who
know.
are you? Why are you here?
Well, I think therefore I am. So I am Ian, I guess.
That works.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to make a podcast?
Sure.
Make it about how much we like to watch movies?
Yeah.
All right, let's do that. I guess we're people now. Yes, we
I guess we
exist,
are people.
You know,
Mhm.
that's the thing. Which is more than you can say for a lot of stuff about this movie. Like
They're
I
not
don't know.
people.
I
in
don't
it?
know where you want to start. I'm
Yeah. Let's just
I'm
start
conflicted.
in with what was your expectations going into this film?
Low.
Yeah.
Nada. Because I knew that if I had expectations, then I was going to more than likely get upset. Oh, but on the flip side, if I have no expectations and it's great, then I'm profoundly enthused. I'm excited. This is great. I love it.
Mhm.
You set them low almost always, even when you know it's going to be good, because it's better to be surprised than to be let down.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you? How did you have expectations?
Not really, no. I have more expectations for the Fantastic Four movie. I feel like I'm hoping that one's going to be good. I
Yeah,
feel like I
yeah.
don't have expectations for the Thunderbolts, though I do hope that that's going to be good. It looks fun.
I think the Thunderbolts will actually end up being like a pretty. It'll be a solid movie. It'll probably be received better than this film, but I don't think that it's really gonna push the needle one way or another with Marvel fans because I think the with that kind of cast and that kind of the film structure, they'll just fall into the Guardians of the Galaxy trope.
Yeah.
Band of
Band of
misfits.
Misfits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bands together to fight thing. Someone gets gravely injured and or dies or almost dies towards the end, and then they realize, hey, we're better together than we are apart. Huzzah!
Yep.
Quips all through fighting sequences. That's
Just a
fun.
bunch of jackasses.
And just a bunch of a-holes
Yeah.
doing
Oh, a-holes. Yeah, that's it.
a-holes doing superhero things, kinda, because they're sort of bad,
Yep.
maybe. And then we get 2 or 3 end credit scenes because that's what's gonna get you to go, "Wow, that movie was awesome." Who would they just drop in there randomly? Some random character you've never heard of yet and probably won't see for 10 more movies. They'll be like, "Look, it's,
We'll get Blade.
no, it won't be Blade. It'll be like one of the what were those people called that I'm forgetting that team of people that were from that TV show that was really bad that nobody
The
watched.
Inhumans?
Yeah, it'll be like a random Inhuman. And it'll have no context. It'll be like the dog. Like the dog will just show up and be like
They're
and
like,
he will be
"Oh,
like,
that
"Whoa,
pooch."
I know him. That's crazy. We got Inhumans, guys. Marvel's back. We're so back."
Mhm.
But I want to take
Yeah.
it back to Captain America: Brave New World because we're so not back.
Not for this movie. Not
We're
really, no.
we have dude, we haven't been back in so long. Like you tell me when since Endgame have we been quote unquote back? And what does that mean? What would that even mean for you? Because I feel like that term gets thrown around so often.
Yeah. I think the highlights of this new saga that has been going on
Mhm,
has been obviously the Guardians 3.
mhm.
Though that was like more so a standalone like wrap up.
It didn't feel like it was connected to the greater MCU at
No.
all, and nor should it have been because it was, like, the culmination of 2 previous films, plus all the side work they've done with those characters in other
Yeah.
films.
And
So,
then Spider-Man, that was pretty good.
mm,
And then Deadpool was fine, though I also wouldn't really classify that as a greater MCU movie.
yeah,
Um and then I truly think Loki season 1 and 2 are fantastic.
mhm,
And then WandaVision's pretty good. And Agatha All Along is okay. It's pretty fun. But that's pretty much it. Like I like for the movie side of stuff,
yeah,
like the Marvels was pretty bad. Like it's not very good. And I like Kamala Khan
mhm.
and Miss Marvel's character is pretty fun. Like I like her a lot. But I just felt like it was like really bad. One of the worst that I've seen.
I
And
skipped
then
that one. I didn't even see that one.
yeah, it's not great. Quantumanium wasn't really great. You know, it was like Kang was fine. He was the most interesting character in it.
Yeah.
They had some fun things with Ant-Man, but they had like a lot of letdown, you
Yeah,
know.
that film, I think that film was definitely plagued by, a pretty lackluster script, and then some interesting CGI design choices,
Yeah,
character design choices. Looking at you, Modoc.
yeah.
Looking at you.
But
Wow.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, Internals was okay. I didn't love that movie. I don't think it's the worst MCU movie ever made, but it just felt very generic to me. Um,
I still stand by I love the Eternals.
yeah, and
I still
that's
stand by
good.
that.
I'm glad that you really enjoyed it. I just think it's the villain. The villain was really bad. Besides like the twist villain ending, like the main one who we thought was the villain, like
Mhm.
I just am like this guy's terrible. Like he's just a rip off of Cell from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. But I'm still thinking, like, in terms of post Endgame, what's the Marvel we're back moment? Like, what is that? What does that moment look like?
Was the moment like hypothetical?
No, just like, well, I mean, if you don't think that it occurred, then I guess it would be hypothetical. But like, then I guess I'll rephrase the question: do you feel like we've had a "oh, we're so back" moment for Marvel movies post Endgame?
I think the ending
I
of
guess you can see
Loki
add TV in
season
there too because
2.
we have
Yeah.
had TV and movies.
Loki the ending of Loki season 2 is almost like it's like perfect to me.
And I think I even though I haven't seen that show, I have seen the ending because I knew that it was integral to what they wanted to do with the greater plot of this multiverse, which I thought was a bold choice. It makes sense why they would use Loki for all of that, but that they kind of did still shoot themselves in the foot because the amount of eyes that they get on these TV shows is still very small
Yeah.
compared to the greater MCU fan base or the greater superhero movie goer fan base, which is where they're trying to get most of their money from because they're not getting them from subscriptions on Disney Plus.
Mhm.
So I wonder, why that? Why do that on Loki season 2 show? Why not just take the time and just given him a movie to do all that with and you would have made way more money probably. Definitely more money, but it is clear that that was their golden goose. Loki season 1, Loki season 2, Tom Hiddleston's Loki, that character is honestly their golden goose of this multiverse saga. There is
Mhm.
no other front runner. There is no other shining star in my eyes. Everything else is just kind of either bringing its own sector of the MCU to a close, like i.e. the Guardians of the Galaxy, Deadpool and Wolverine, or it's like these kind of almost one-off stories that are trying to connect to the MCU in a way, but it's still not as clear what they're doing with it, like Agatha All Along, or movies like Ant-Man and the Wasp, like
Oh, Secret Invasion
or
was
Quantumania, not
also
Ant-Man and the Wasp, sorry.
no, you're fine. Secret Invasion was also really bad.
Oh, I think they're just I feel like they'll just retcon that entire thing. I think they're gonna want hope and want us to just forget. Um,
Yeah, that and She-Hulk. She-Hulk wasn't great either.
yeah, but that's
Um,
what I mean. I'm just like, I don't think that we really had a "we're so back" moment. I wouldn't even say Loki season 2 is a "we're so back" moment because it wasn't something that the greater fan base was like a part of and watching, you know? Like it didn't blow up the pop culture space like Avengers and then Avengers Ultron and then Endgame and then or Infinity War and then Endgame. Like, and not to say that only the Infinity War or the Avengers movies can do something like that because obviously people love Captain America 2, you know, people love Black
mhm.
Panthers, you know,
And
people come out in
and even
droves for anything
the original
Spider-Man.
Captain Marvel still was pretty big, you know?
Right, exactly. So it's like you have those and I think the thing is I think when you have these solo movies that can operate on their own as like a just a really solid movie, not just a 5 out of 10, not just a B, like it's a solid A. It's like that's a good movie. Like I like that, you know? Like I feel like Guardians 2. That's a good
Yeah,
movie.
Guardians of the
It's
Galaxy
not,
is
I
good.
don't like it as much as I like Guardians 1 and I definitely don't like it as much as I like Guardians 3, but it's a solid sequel, you know? And I think that when you have films like that in your roster, it only makes those heavy hitter ensemble pieces hit that much harder. And, you know, because then it's like you've built upon these strong foundations, and now we're just catapulting to the finish with these bombastic, larger than life storylines like Infinity War and Endgame. Right now, there's like so much lost faith right now and lost hope because our foundation is so weak.
Yeah,
It's like there is no foundation. Guardians 3 is not a foundation. Deadpool Wolverine is not a foundation. Even Agatha All Along is not that's not a foundation. Like there's
no.
little things in that can apply to the greater narrative, but it's like slim pickings. Like those that series served more as just like a bit more of a piece about Agatha and why she is how she is, who she like how she became that way, a bit more about her son or whatever and like how she knows death. Okay, cool. So maybe death shows up later. No, probably not. But Agatha surely will, and so will the Darkhold. And now we've got Wanda's kid in the MCU, which like cool, sure, fun. But then you go over to Multiverse of Madness and like that movie, it's like that could have been a pretty solid base, but it was kind of lackluster as well. It was okay. You know, in my opinion, I feel like it was an okay movie, but they didn't I feel like they didn't really take as many big swings as they probably could have, and then like these those kinds of movies, and honestly, almost all these Marvel movies that you can almost not never really rate them as a singular film unless it's like Deadpool and Wolverine because they don't really connect to anything else. Like it has the luxury of referencing everything else, but it doesn't have the responsibility to necessarily connect to everything else if it doesn't want to. You can just flirt with it. But these other movies, it's like they have to excel at being a movie on its own, and it has to excel at being an MCU film for this greater universe, and that's a tall order a lot of times. So I get that, you know, why a lot of these films don't actually hit the mark. Um, but it's still, you know, it's what we want to see.
Mhm.
And I feel like Captain America Brave New World didn't do that. I
Yeah,
feel like it didn't succeed at either of those.
yeah,
I feel like it wasn't a good film on its own, and it wasn't a good greater MCU film.
yeah. No, I agree. I feel like, they've been trying to build on like make a new foundation on, Sam Wilson and as well as Doctor Strange. Like
Right. And you would
they
think that if he's going to be the new leader of the Avengers, whatever that Avengers team looks like, then okay, just like Captain America, the first Avenger, like his first movie, we need to make this film a solid foundation. Make it first and foremost stand on its own. Like literally first and foremost. This is his first outing
yeah.
as Captain America in his own film.
Yes.
Obviously he had Falcon and the Winter Soldier. People aren't really watching Disney Plus shows. Sorry, they're just not. And the people that are very, very critical people and
Yeah.
ripped that show to threads. So like he needs to have a very solid outing on his own. Then once you have a solid film on its own merit, then we can start thinking about, now, is there a way to tweak this story to help us move the greater plot along? And sometimes, for whatever reason, in the MCU movies, that looks like end credit scenes. I
Mhm.
want to get away from that. I honestly, Marvel movies have made me grow to hate end credit scenes. I can't freaking stand them anymore. Because, like, for one, if this movie is not enjoyable, why am I sitting in this theater for 10 minutes just to watch some random actor that's probably never going to see again for 5 years play some random character that we've never seen for 2 seconds? It's not exciting anymore. It's like it's become a shtick. And in some ways, it feels like almost like a crutch. And I don't want it to be, you know?
Yeah.
Like what is this actually here for? Like why do I need to be teased? Like, especially when these movies aren't getting pumped out, you've slowed down on the TV shows, so we can't connect it to the TV shows either. So I think that they need to pull that back. Pull it back.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Where I feel like a lot of the end credit scenes don't really add much to um the overall narrative or push of the entire universe anymore. Like they did and had when they had a lot of weight on them.
You know what kind of end credit scenes I enjoy? I enjoy end credit scenes in movies that either slightly change how you view a character or slightly change, like, not too much fundamentally the ending of the film, but like can give you room to conversate. Like, oh my gosh, like what do you think happened there? Like, what do you think that means? Do
Yeah,
you think we're gonna, there's gonna be another one, and this is gonna, like I wanted to connect to that film and those characters within that film. These like cameos and these end credit scenes, just they always connect to some other movie. It's literally never the next movie for this franchise. Like, I can't think of one where it's been like, "Yup," and then it's because this is coming for the next Iron Man. It's like, no, this is that's Thor.
yeah,
You saw that hammer guy? It's like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, and back then it was cool because it was new and it just made you hype as a fan because you're like, oh, I've never seen Thor before. And now we're gonna get Thor. Now I want to know what it's like. But now we have so many other bigger fish to fry in this this fan excuse me, this fandom, that like I don't care. I don't want to know what movie's coming next, but what random character you're throwing out. Make a good film, make a good trailer. I'll care then. But like more time, more effort into this character, this story,
yeah,
these characters right here that I'm watching.
yeah. Well, how about we talk about the characters that are in this movie? Then,
Okay.
how we talk about um. Well, first off, let's talk about the big recast. We had I believe the guy's name was William Hurt,
Hmm.
who passed away, who was playing Ross.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. And then we got he got replaced by the legendary Harrison Ford.
Yeah. Go.
Yeah, he is. What was your take on Harrison Ford getting that recast? Like, do you feel like they made a good decision?
I was skeptical at first, mainly because there was and still has been a lot of talk about how Harrison Ford has been taking on roles that were just mainly for money and just kind of sleepwalking through them and what have you. So, and not that I, excuse me, not that I was like some huge like defender and supporter of Thaddeus Ross and then the character that is Thaddeus, and I just, is my favorite MCU person of all time, and he needs to be perfect. No, not at all. But just knowing the optics around that casting just gave me pause. Where I was just like, huh, I wonder why they went that route. He really doesn't look like him, like,
Yeah.
at all. It's also a bold choice because it is Harrison Ford. So when an actor that is that big, who almost never looks any different than how they look in real life when they do characters, takes on a recast, it's going to draw a lot of attention because you're like, they don't look alike. That's Harrison Ford,
Yeah.
you know, and it's still the same when you watch it. Like like I can accept that that's Thaddeus Ross now, like he's playing him, sure, but he doesn't look like him at all, and like that's okay. But I think
Yeah.
still, I think that he acted his butt off in this role, and not for nothing, so did a lot of other people in this,
Yeah.
surprisingly.
Yeah, I thought that he did a good job. I don't think he's a terrible actor. I think he's pretty
Oh
good.
no, I don't think he's a terrible actor at all
Um,
either. I'm just regurgitating what other people
oh
were saying.
yeah, yeah, I know.
Or referencing rather what they're saying. Like they like people were concerned thinking that he might just come and sleepwalk through this role that up until this point hasn't really had like a super significant amount of screen time, I feel like.
Yeah,
So I was kind of like, well, I don't think it would be that big of a deal, but I'm also confused since he hasn't had a lot of screen time why they would pick such a prolific actor. So maybe he will get a lot of screen time in this film, and he sort of does,
kind of.
kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It just is. It takes me out of it almost, and I know it's not anything that Marvel or Kevin or whoever you want to say could really deal with because obviously they can't control when this man dies, and whatnot. But I just was like, this guy has been Thaddeus Ross since I saw the Incredible Hulk in theaters. You know what I mean? Like, I remember going to see that movie. I remember him interacting with Iron Man at the end of the movie. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And just was like, oh man, like that's crazy. And then obviously they have this like tragic thing, and it just feels like it's kind of like obviously I knew they were probably going to do we cast him for another character, but I just it's almost kind of like a no one else can really play Iron Man type of thing. No one else can really play like Don Cheadle. I don't think I know he wasn't the original um Rhodey, or same with with the Hulk. I know that you know Mark Ruffalo wasn't the original Bruce Banner, but there's just something about those two now that I'm like, well, I wouldn't want to see Rhodey be replaced. I wouldn't want to see the Hulk be replaced. And maybe that's because we grew up with this now, and now it's like it's almost expected that they're like, okay, this is this and this is this. And I know that they're doing multiverse stuff now, but it's almost like I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I
You've
just
got
am
an
like,
attachment to some of these
yeah, I'm
characters.
attached. I'm attached to this world.
Mhm.
Even though it's not that great right now, I'm still like somewhat invested into it. And so it's kind of a funny thing as well because you talk about like these other obviously the MCU is not the first superhero movie ever made, so we get like Superman, like that's been remade a million times, and Batman that's been remade a million times, and Spider-Man that's been made a million times. And even the X-Men movies besides Wolverine, you know what I mean? Like, and you just kind of expect that these movies are not going to keep the same actors. Like they're going to pass the helm. You know what I mean? They're going to say, okay, it's your turn next to be Batman.
Yeah, but then, you got Kevin Feige who's kinda stuck his feet in the sand and said, like, "I'm building this universe."
Yeah,
And up until now, it's really felt like MCU means these characters, these actors, and only once they opened up the multiverse Pandora's box have we then even given the option to say, "Oh, well, you know what? Maybe it can be these characters,
yeah,
those actors too, maybe." And I think that it's a bit of a smart play in a way, so that they can kind of test the waters
yeah,
and see, people's reaction to some of that stuff. But we still have yet to really they've yet to really kind of like full send it and be and like have like, okay, this is Doctor Strange 616, this is Doctor Strange like 518. Like and like have them on the same in the same screen,
Yeah.
like two different actors.
Well, besides Spider-Man. They did that with Spider-Man.
Right, but that's different because like that had, everything backing behind it of like a whole like what collective 5 movies from the other Spider-Mans that people, got to watch and be attached to. Like I'm talking about like this is a new guy. Like this is Tom Cruise Iron Man and RDJ Iron Man, and they're on screen together, sharing screen time, doing things XYZ. Are you okay with this? Like they've yet to full send it in that way, and I think that they've kind of spent a lot of time kind of like pitter pattering about around it.
Mhm.
That it's a bit too late. They're still gonna try. They have to. That's what Secret Wars is for.
Yeah.
But I still think it's a bit too late. Like we're like people have spoken. They don't like the multiverse. They're done with the multiverse. Like I think that their best bet they could have done, and I said this years and years ago before they went the Thanos route, because I didn't think they were gonna go the Thanos route at first. I thought that their first story they were gonna do was get the X-Men in and do the Skrull invasion and get Norman Osborn in there
Mm.
and do that whole storyline. I thought that's what I thought Thaddeus Ross's character was gonna be like. I thought he was gonna be a Norman Osborn type, and that and before they did Civil War, I thought they were gonna do the Skrull War, and then they kind of played with the scrolls a little bit,
Not
but like
well.
they fumbled it.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, we got scrolls, but they're clearly not doing Skrull War. They're going a whole different route, which sucks because like that's a good one where you can flirt with the idea of duplicates and doubles,
Yeah.
but but you're using the same actors and it's not, they're not variants, it's just scrolls.
Yeah.
And like but it's such a good story, and then all that leads into like the big mutant versus Mutant X-Men versus Avengers conflicts. We've already met Namor now, so like,
Which I like him.
yeah,
He's
like
he's pretty good.
man, it's just they've got some avenues to go, but they've kind of put a lot of their eggs into this basket, and they kind of have to see it through.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to really hope for the alley oop from the Russos,
Yeah.
and we'll see what they can do with it.
Yeah. No, I agree. They're gonna be putting in that leg.
But how'd you feel about
It's
Anthony
leg day
Mackie in
every
this, though?
day. I like Anthony Mackie. I don't think he's a bad guy. He's generally like seems like a really nice guy and like a guy you like really just want to talk to.
Yeah.
I like him as Sam Wilson. I have no problem with him being Cap. I think
Mhm.
he's fine as Cap. You know, um, I liked him more in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I thought that movie at
Was it
least was
because, like, you liked the story there better, or was it
yeah.
because you
That's what I
liked
was getting at.
or
Yeah.
I was gonna say, or is it mainly because you enjoy him and Bucky's, playing off of each other, like, their
Well,
buddy
I
cop?
I enjoy that, but spoiler warning before we get to that. Like Bucky shows up, in this movie, and I really just felt like that was just a pointless cameo. Like I
Oh,
didn't think it
no, no,
was
it wasn't pointless. That the purpose of that cameo was so that they could drop in the fact that Bucky is a senator now.
a
So,
congressman.
a
Yeah,
congressman, so that when we get to Thunderbolts, we're not like, "Hey, what's going on?"
I
Because they
I guess.
that this is how we tell stories now.
I guess, yeah. It just was. It felt very like everything about this movie felt like it was like, oh, you
Getting to
know
the
who
next
that
thing.
was? That was Bucky Barnes. He's Captain America's best friend. He fought in World War II, and he gave a good fight. Everybody thought he was dead, but guess what? He didn't die. He showed up as the Winter Soldier, and now he killed a lot of people then, but now he's a congressman.
Yeah,
That's what it felt.
that's pretty good. That's pretty good synopsis. They should hire you.
Yeah, I guess. But it just felt like it was just so like
It's
just
explanatory.
yeah.
A lot of the
Everything
movie
was
was very
explanatory.
explanatory.
And
I said this while we were watching it. I was just like, there's so many scenes of dialogue, and it wasn't the kind of dialogue that you want. It wasn't like the punchy like we're monologuing, but we're kind of monologuing about this like greater narrative of things that's going on while we try to uncover what's going on. There was no greater narrative. There was no like let's figure out things that are going on. There were concepts of a plot.
Yeah.
But the plot was quickly found out and very long-windedly explained to us as the movie kept going.
Do you think that's the reason why it is because of the reshoots and the recuts that they've done to
A
this
hundred
film?
percent. 100%. Why would you use Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie's first film, solo film, as a stepping stone movie for Red Hulk? Question mark.
Yeah.
And not even like they used a ton of him in Red Hulk form, or just in a general sense. Like this film felt like it had no purpose. I think the things you can gain from this movie are Bucky's a senator. Captain America
Congressman.
doesn't, for whatever reason. I mean, I almost
He's
say
a
whatever reason.
Congress.
We know why he doesn't want to do. He tells you
He's
he doesn't
Congress.
want to take the super soldier serum. Learn that Thaddeus Ross is Red Hulk. Um, Joaquin Torres is now Hawkeye. No, not Hawkeye.
Falcon.
Falcon. You learn that. Uh, Betty Ross exists still
Still.
as Liv Tyler. I think it was hard to see her in that dark room. Um, I feel like I'm missing one more. Oh, there's more Red Room women out and about.
Mm.
Cool. You could
Which
say
I want to
that.
talk about her.
Yeah, you could say that we learned that. The leader, played by our camp counselor from Holes, is back
Yeah.
with a terrible character design. Um, but he's even though he's the smartest man alive, he's very easily thwarted. So I guess you learn that he's actually not that smart, despite what he tells you.
Well, I mean, that plays in a lot of just the real world right now as well as, smartest man alive really aren't that smart.
No. Oh, that the other big one that I was forgetting. Adamantium. Whatever, do with that whatever you will. It
Yeah.
feels like it doesn't even feel like an Easter egg. It feels like like a cameo, or like these things are like in credit scenes in thrown in the middle of the movie. It's like that whole fight around Tiamat could have happened anywhere.
Yeah.
It could have just been in the water on some naval base, on some like little ship guys that carry airplanes, because like the Tiamat thing didn't matter. Like it wasn't like I was really expecting us to, because like I love scale in films. I was really expecting it to be a thing where it's like, you're zoomed out and you see this massive Tiamat, and you're like, wow, that's crazy. And then eventually we get super zoomed in where they're just like fighting on dude's like tip of his pinky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some, because like stuff like that sense of scale, that's incredible. Because it's like you then put that into perspective, and it's like, wow, this is, you think about the context surrounding that. No, instead we're chasing around fighter jets, flying around, throwing shields, and big explosion, boom, Red Hulk kind of sometimes.
Yeah. I want to talk about our friend, the widow who is no longer a widow, but part of the Secret Service or whatever. So she was a completely different character to begin with. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, she was supposed to be a mutant.
Oh, she was gonna be a mutant.
Yeah, she was supposed to be a mutant who, I don't know the mutant's name, but she's very, it's not a joke. I'm not trying to say anything. She was like very Jewish. Like she
Mhm.
wore like the Star of David on on her clothing,
Mhm.
and like had like the Star of David on her like emblem. I don't know the full story of that or why that's the case.
Yeah.
She's kind of obscure, I feel, in the MCU,
Interesting.
but that was her character. Like she's just very Jewish.
Yeah.
And
There's no way they would have had her just running around full costume like that, though.
no, she had a different clothes. Like it was like a darker blue, kind of like a star shape on her chest, but
Mhm.
like it was like spread out more.
Oh, okay, interesting, interesting.
So
So also they even had a costume for her and everything. Like
yeah,
there's set photos of this.
yeah, yeah.
Huh?
And they reshot.
That same actress?
Yeah. Mhm. And
Wow.
they reshot because the I don't know her name. I don't remember her name, but the other but Sam's friend, the black girl. I don't remember her name. But the
Oh, in the movie?
agent. Yeah, the
Yeah.
agent. They were supposed to be like running around the ship a lot together and like, working a lot together. And
Mm.
they did not. They cut that completely out. Like just threw it away. Yeah.
It's just
So
man, it's
people were saying they brought up Annie the medal, like Wolverine's medal, and it my brain doesn't want to say it. Sorry, my brain's on like pilot mode right now. Uh
is metal? Oh,
yeah,
adamantium.
adamantium. Thank you.
Yeah, got you.
They brought that up because they were trying to allude to more mutant stuff and X-Men stuff, but they kind of just threw it out. But they kept that scene in. So
So goofy because that's what it felt like. It felt so non-connected when you could tell that it was very connected to whatever the plot was that got left on the cutting room floor. Go figure. But yeah, that's so sad to hear. It's so sad to hear because here's the thing. Obviously, we're living in a very tumultuous time. And when it comes to like politics and video games, politics and media, politics and movies, blah blah blah, you've got people on this side or the other that will tell you what they think and they'll try to tell you how to feel, and you know everyone's entitled to their opinions.
mhm.
But when we start to say just off base racist stuff, that's where I kind of tune people out.
Right.
But in regards to this film, it makes me sad that to learn that the decision making behind cutting this film to ribbons could have been based around any backlash that they could have received for either being like too controversial, maybe too woke,
Yeah.
or the big scary word now, DEI, like
Yeah.
whatever. Like it's whatever reason they felt like they had for cutting it, that probably did not serve that character, those actors, that team that worked on that film, because it didn't, because they had to put their name now behind something that they know was an inferior product, because what they had before, for better or for worse, was probably better,
Yes. Yeah. I would
and
probably argue it was probably better.
exactly. So it's like
Probably had more heart.
it hurts, and that's the big thing this film is missing. This film is missing heart, and it makes me sad as a film that is literally one of the most this character is one of the most, you could say, woke characters in the MCU. The original Captain America fought Nazis, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
He literally, the first outing, he beat the crap out of a Nazi dude with a red skull. Nazi man. Bunch
Well,
of them.
he literally punched Hitler in the face in a comic book.
Like, y'all gotta read more books. Y'all
Or just
gotta
remember history.
remember history, read
Like,
more books. Like, get your head out of your own prejudiced butts. And like, if it's not for you, then just go watch something else. But give things a chance, and stop pressuring, and I can't put it all on just the consumer, but and we'll get to that. But like, we got to stop pressuring and making these executives and these big wigs making these decisions feel like they're gonna upset too many people by being truthful with their art. And we got to talk about these executives, and they need to stop being so cowardice, and I'll say that, cowardice,
mhm.
for not putting their foot down and actually standing next to their art and their artists, and allowing them to do what they do. Like,
Mhm.
you're okay, you're willing to put this money up, put all this money up for these big name actors, for the these sets, these costumes, the CGI. Okay, put your money where your mouth is. Don't just dip your toe in and then a minute it's like, oh, you know what? Maybe no. Even if people hated the film for its woke politics, you bet your ass they would have still been in those seats
Yeah.
and you would have still made money.
Yeah.
So what are we doing? And not for nothing, you would have still had your integrity. Now
Well,
you don't got box office sales, you don't got the critic scores, and you don't got integrity. You're 0
yeah.
for 3.
Unfortunately, a lot of, and I'm a big Disney, like I like Disney. I don't think that they always make the right decisions, and I also don't think that they're the greatest company in the world. But I
And I want
feel
to put it out
like,
there, we're rooting for them.
yeah,
We
yeah,
want these movies to be good.
yeah,
We're fans.
yeah,
But when you fumble and you make a mistake, we're gonna call you out, especially one like this,
yeah,
where it's like you fundamentally miss the whole essence of the character. It's like the guy we were talking about, I think off air, the new Spider-Man show, the animated one.
yeah.
You heard about the actor who the voice actor who played Spider-Man?
No,
He did an interview and he goes, yeah, I was a little skeptical about taking this role as Spider-Man, but I was, glad to find out that, it's not really super woke.
the actor.
Yeah,
Why does
and
that
I'm
matter?
paraphrasing. He may have worded that slightly differently, but he did use that word. So it's like, whoa, sir, do you not know who you're freaking playing right now?
Yeah,
And the sad part about it is, if this was a couple years ago, Marvel would have been all on top of it PR style. They would have made him make a statement and everything. He maybe could have even lost his job. Think about the people who have already gotten in trouble and or lost their jobs for the things that they've done allegedly are proven to have done in the past within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And because of where we are now in terms of this whole political BS, like just you didn't even hear about it.
yeah. I didn't
Gone.
know about it.
And there are a lot of people that did talk about it, but like the fact that like mainstream wise that this wasn't something that upset people and Marvel just kind of lets it slide, like this is your brand. Spider-Man is one of your golden gooses.
Yeah,
Tom Holland doesn't stand for that. Tobey Maguire doesn't stand for that. Andrew Garfield doesn't stand for that. They know who this character is. We should know who this character is. So it's sad to see you have a character like Captain America, who is the embodiment of what it means to fight for one's freedom, and that can look different in a lot of different ways. Just be treated like a sidekick to his own film. Like he's not even you couldn't even use him as a political mouthpiece. You couldn't even made it woke if you tried. You didn't.
it's also crazy because Stan Lee, like even like back in like the 40s and the 50s and all that stuff, like he would have a segment in the back of the book called Stanley's Soapbox. You know what I mean? And he'd get up on his soapbox and he'd talk about political stuff.
Yeah. I love that man. Rest in peace. I love that man to death. Like probably one of my favorite human beings to ever grace this earth. The type of things him and Jack Kirby gave us have made so many people happy.
Yeah.
It's insane. And I didn't know about that, but I'm not surprised. And it's like people forget even that, Ian. It's like, what are we doing here? Like the creator of all this did not stand for what you are trying to stand for, what you are trying to fight against, what you are trying to get these films to be about. They didn't stand for that. That's why they made these characters.
I just don't know. Yeah. I don't know why or how we got to this point in our society. I'm not trying to get too political, I guess.
I mean, we're talking about bloody Captain America for Christ's sake.
I know that is true.
You know what I mean? Like that, and it's exactly the point that you even say that is like what makes this so like fucked.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, why are we afraid to talk about politics when we're talking about Captain America? The man fought Nazis. He's political.
Yes,
he was employed by the president in the movie. That's political.
It is political.
They were talking to other governments. That's political.
They do say in the
It's
movie.
like, Christ, what are we talking
They
about
do
here?
say in the movie that's politics. So yeah, I guess you're right.
It's like,
I
oh
just
no, but
don't know.
we don't want politics in our films.
Yeah,
Okay, well, they go watch. Like, I don't even know what to tell you because politics is everywhere, man. I don't
yeah.
even know. I don't know.
I just don't know why we have gotten to this point of just so craziness. That's another thing of can of worms we can open up later. Uh but yeah, it just I won't get started on that. But
No, it's okay. I gotta cool off a little.
yeah,
Cool. I
that's
gotta
fine.
cool off a little.
Um yeah, I think that this movie lacks a lot of heart and lacks a lot of like story. I mean, it's fine for like the fighting. The fighting's fine. Um, but I mean, other than
I mean,
that,
imagine if the fighting sucked.
oh, it'd be 10 times terrible, or like worse.
Right. It's
Yeah,
like you kind of gotta at least pop off a bit with that.
yeah. Like he does cool stuff with the shield. He's a little more flippy
Can I
than
ask, like,
Captain America.
how is he flippy, and how does he catch the shield?
How
How does he
does
throw the
Sam?
shield if he doesn't have super soldier serum? I don't think everything can be explained
That's
away by vibranium.
yeah, that's
I'm
fair.
kind of like
That
I'm
is
not
another issue I
yeah,
had.
I'm kind of not here for the vibranium fixes everything trope that we've got going on in the MCU. Can we stop that,
Yeah,
please? Like,
yeah.
not only is it just now tired, but it also, to me, it diminishes like the cool factor of vibranium, like in general. If everybody's got a vibranium this or that, then
Why do we?
what's the
Yeah,
point?
what's the point? Yeah, that's
Excuse me.
exactly what I thought when his wings kind of nanoed away. I was like,
Yeah,
oh
the nano crap too. I'm done with the nano crap because that also, like, I get that, like, a lot of these actors, they don't want to wear the helmets and this and that, and like I get that. I will always say to go see films.
yeah,
You can take the things that we say and you can decide that you don't want to see a film, but if we want to continue to watch movies in theaters, if we want to continue to do what we do, then we got to see the movies. We got to pay the money. We got to support these films, support these filmmakers, support these people because they do good work. It may not always be enjoyable work or work that we enjoy,
yeah,
but like, those people worked hard. So with that being said, like, you can choose a theater or not, but I would say to it's a watchable movie. It's definitely a watchable movie. I think that the trailer shows you the entire film.
oh yeah,
The outside
yeah.
of the leader and what he looks like, and I guess knowing that he was in the movie because I don't think he's in the trailer. I think
No, well, he was supposed to be in the trailer with the little like the American hat. You remember that in the trailer where he's walking through?
nope.
Okay,
But
well, they took that out.
I
So
remember. So I'm saying, like, the what else? I think you can. There was Bucky wasn't in the trailer. Liv Tyler wasn't in the trailer. Red Room Girl wasn't in the trailer.
but no,
And
she
that
was.
oh, maybe she was. But knowing she was Red Room Girl
Yeah,
is what I
no,
mean.
no, we didn't know that.
But that's it. The whole movie is kind of predicated on this idea that we got to find out who's pulling the strings and who, like, what's going on with Thaddeus Ross. And the movie tells you pretty quickly that it's this leader guy pulling the strings.
Mhm.
And it also tells you, and not Sam, for the longest time early in the movie, that he is Red Hulk because it's in the trailer.
Yeah,
So, movie whole plot is contingent on us figuring that out, but it's spoiled in the trailer. Not a good, not a good plan.
no,
But again, I don't think that was the plan from the beginning, and obviously, someone's got to eat crow for that because it didn't work. It's not what we wanted. It's not what worked on screen. So I don't really think there's much else to say about the film. Like, I could talk for ages and ages about like little small things about it, but I think at the end of the day, we all know what went wrong.
Yeah.
You know, we all know what needed to happen that didn't, and I hope that they can do another film, not a TV show, not do like a Civil War where yeah, it's Captain America movie, but it's got like 50 other people in it. Another Captain America film that truly serves as a Sam Wilson story.
Mhm.
Like that's what I want from him, and I know he
Yeah.
probably wants that too. He
Yeah.
deserves it.
I agree.
Yeah.
What
So
would you give this? Uh, what would you give it?
as a film on its own, not connected to the MCU, solid C.
Mm,
MCU film, it's a D score for me.
mm. I give it 2 falcon wings out of. Well, I guess that's a good thing because there's only 2 falcon wings. I give it 1.5 falcon wings out of 2. So,
Regular wings or vibranium?
uh, the regular wings. Vibranium has more value. So,
There you go.
so
All right, guys. Well, that's been the pod. Sorry for the random swap to one video. I need a bigger memory card on my other thing. Now I'm wondering how long we've been sitting here chatting for. Um, I didn't think it was that
it
long.
wasn't that long. I'm assuming when it went doodle-loop is
Yeah, I
when.
think that's when it happened.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We'll get a bigger memory card. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. Catch us YouTube, catch us Spotify, catch us maybe TikTok soon. Instagram, Real Heads. Catch me on YouTube, my personal channel, Mark. It's MARQ. I think we got Oscars coming up next.
The Oscar season is upon
The
us,
Oscar season is upon us.
which is okay this year.
There's a lot of
not a lot of.
there's a lot of films in there. What I suggest you guys doing is try to watch the Best Picture noms. That's
Yeah.
usually best bet. Try to watch those. But yeah, we'll catch you guys later. Hope you guys have a good week, weekend, weekday, day, night, whatever. Something that I really
Yeah.
like. If you ever watch Dead Meat, you watch Dead Meat.
Yeah, a little bit.
Something that I love that James A. Janice says on there. That I'm not saying like I'm stealing this because I feel like it's just like a nice thing to say in general, especially during times like these or whatever. But I'll just borrow his saying for a bit. But just be good people.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
Just in general.
just in general.
And if people want to say that that is not manly enough or something like that, some bullshit like that, that's just bullshit.
Yeah.
Just there's no reason why you shouldn't be a good person.
Yeah.
And it's been taught to be a good person since my grandparents have been alive. You know what I mean? So be a good person.
Yeah. And with that, we'll see you later, guys.
See you later. Bye.